President Trump allegedly called a female reporter a mean name this week, and others quickly said that he didn't. He said something that sounded similar, but people were misinterpreting it. It's all on video. I'll show you the clip in a moment. And of course, the liberal media started melting down, and since we can't trust a single word that they say, I thought, there's no way that he actually said this. But upon further investigation, he very well may have. A broken clock is right twice a day, or in CNN's case, maybe twice a year, when they're reporting on the weather or something. But even if he did say it, I think it's actually better. He signed the bill to release the Epstein files, which Pam Bondi's going to go through and redact a bunch of stuff. And then in 30 days, they will release a mostly nothing burger that will look pretty much like this. So I certainly wouldn't get your hopes up. As I've been saying for years, the actual files were contained or destroyed a long time ago. Although we did get some interesting tidbits, like former Treasury Secretary that Bill Clinton appointed, Larry Summers, is now taking a leave of absence from teaching at Harvard after he was discovered to have been emailing Jeffrey Epstein about how he could get some advice about how to pick up young girls. And President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also was found to have emailed Jeffrey Epstein to invite him to a high-profile gala after he was initially convicted of doing what Jeffrey Epstein did. Because, let's be honest, when you look in Jared Kushner's eyes, you don't really see a soul. To his credit, he did help negotiate the peace deal between Israel and Palestine, and so hopefully that will help alleviate our Israel fatigue and we can stop hearing about and getting sucked into the ethnic land disputes going on halfway around the world. But President Trump has Epstein fatigue and he's tired of talking about them, probably because he's tired of being threatened by a certain foreign country about Jeffrey Epstein's connections with their intelligence agencies and blackmail operations here in the United States. And so when he was asked about the files and signing them for them to be released, this was his response.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. Your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC. I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you.
Of course, none of these reporters are wondering why Joe Biden's Justice Department didn't release the files when they were in power for 4 years, which certainly if there was any actual dirt in there about President Trump, they would have dumped that as their October surprise instead of playing their old hits, claiming that President Trump is Adolf Hitler reincarnated. But this is the interaction that really set them off.
Sir, if there's nothing incriminating in the file,
Quiet Piggy. The President of the United States Friday calling a female reporter doing her job Piggy and to be quiet.
While that interaction happened last week, that clip just surfaced this week. Apparently it went unnoticed even by the libtard media. And once it started going viral, a lot of people started saying, no, he actually said Quiet Peggy and said that he was talking to Peggy Collins, a reporter from Bloomberg. But I can't find any verification that she was actually on that plane. It certainly is possible that she was part of the press corps, but nobody wants to admit it because they want to perpetuate that hoax. But this is the reporter that they're claiming asked that question, which is not her. So maybe he confused her with Peggy Collins and said Quiet Peggy. Or maybe he did just say Quiet Piggy. Like she's squealing like a pig, making noise. It doesn't matter.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
So the Cloud News Network had a full meltdown about it.
David Axelrod, former senior advisor to President Obama, senior political commentator Ana Navarro, as well as senior political commentator David Urban, a former Trump campaign.
I had to have a whole panel talking about it. Start of every show. Quiet.
That's really what he said to that reporter who was asking him about the Jeffrey Epstein files.
I hope so. Of course, Brian Stelter took that comment personally. We all know why.
Trump still has the capacity to shock. Demeaning language, it's unacceptable language, and I'm noticing people are truly outraged about it. Normal people, normal viewers are still not numb, and that's a good thing, that they're not numb to that kind of insulting and ugly language.
Actually, people are numb because as of today, nobody cares. It's as if it didn't even happen because these chicken littles, these boys who cry wolf, have been screaming about every little thing that President Trump does for 8 years now. And now it looks like people are becoming numb. Something that will help wake them up, however, is if you show up to Christmas dinner wearing this Trump Claus knit sweater, which you have to order from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Stay tuned, there's plenty more to come in this video. But Friday is the last day to order these with standard shipping and get them in time for Christmas. These are custom knit sweaters. These are not screen printed. The design is woven directly into the sweater itself. So they're available in red, black, and green. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out. And speaking of Christmas this year, there are a variety of AI-infused toys for small children, which is one of the most horrifying ideas imaginable. We all know what cell phones, what social media have done to children, even teenagers, especially teenagers. But imagine what AI-infused toys are going to do now when small children are going to be able to talk to their teddy bear without parental supervision. Well, now, I guess we don't have to imagine what's going to happen. Now we know what happened because the Folo toy AI teddy bear has been recalled because it started telling the children, giving them advice about BDSM and where to find knives. The 2019 remake of Child's Play, the horror film from the 1980s, tried to warn people about this because instead of the doll being possessed by a demon, it was an artificial intelligent doll that then went crazy. AI toys raise safety risk concerns ahead of Black Friday. Consumer watchdogs warn parents about artificial intelligence-powered toys that can have unpredictable conversations with children. Is it really unpredictable, or is it just something that the toy manufacturers, the AI manufacturers actually want to have with the children, but they don't want the parents to know? We all know how they've been sneaking in the LGBTQ agenda into kids' cartoons, even Blue's Clues. Now for 5-6 years, I've lost track of how long they've had their agenda going. Remember when they said there was no gay agenda, and then when it became clear, then we're all supposed to celebrate it? A quick search on Amazon for AI kids toys shows that there already are a bunch of them proudly boasting that they have ChatGPT built right into them. And of course, they're all just a bunch of innocent-looking teddy bears and cool-looking robots. It looks like Mattel probably didn't want to get sued for having their planned AI Barbie dolls go rogue and appear to have abandoned the release of them for this year. Earlier this year, they made a deal with OpenAI, the parent company and creator of ChatGPT, and they were planning on having AI Barbies out by this year, unless they're just waiting for some big rollout for Black Friday for next week. But I wouldn't be surprised if they got scared after they started testing them and realized this is a horrifying idea and put a stop to it. Something people aren't putting a stop to, however, is their obsession about Tucker Carlson interviewing right-wing streamer Nick Fuentes now over 3 weeks ago. Here's CNN's Jake Tapeworm complaining that they obsessively tried to contact J.D. Vance's office, hoping that he would condemn Tucker, but they didn't get a response.
Now, this week and last, I repeatedly asked Vance's office for any comment about this internal war about Fuentes, specifically about Tucker Carlson platforming Fuentes, and there was no response.
You are not entitled to a response. But despite a certain little clique determined to try to cancel Tucker Carlson, he's not backing down. In fact, last night, he posted an interview with Nikki Haley's son, who is now 24 years old. He is a young man, no longer a kid. And he had some very interesting things to say. I may have to do an entire video on that I want to see how the kosher conservatives and the neocons react to that. Seeing one of the queens of the neocons' own sons now sounding exactly like us, saying this in part.
So you start to have these realizations that maybe this is like kind of fake. Or
he used to be a normie conservative. He used to watch Ben Shapiro videos, and then he started noticing things.
Maybe it's totally fake. Who do you talk to about this?
No one, because the last thing you want to do is tell people that you're not accepting what they're accepting and what they're believing. So I've always been the type to just research things. When I see a certain topic that I'm interested in, I just want to learn more about it. And so that's what I did, was taking various different sources and just trying to put it together. And just when you realize you're not allowed to talk about something in particular, it opens up very more questions than answers, right?
Oh,
and sometimes I still feel like I have more questions than answers.
Oh, I definitely do.
So,
of course, we all know what he's talking about, right? Ben Shapiro's favorite country. You must worship them. You must give billions of tax dollars, American tax dollars, over them every single year. You can't disagree with a Jew about the best flavor of ice cream. You're an anti-Semite.
That I never told anybody, but it was something that I noticed over time, that I'm not the only one.
Yes.
Everyone else is noticing this, and everyone else is heading towards the same direction, which is nationalist, America first. And that's the direction I hope it will be.
You just know that Ted Cruz is going to call him an anti-Semite. Ted Cruz called the young men who were at a recent Turning Point USA event during the Q&A portion, who were asking J.D. Vance questions, vile, vicious anti-Semites, because they were just wondering, what is with this certain clique of people in America leveraging our power and our money to try to help this foreign country? It really would be no different than if a bunch of people from Somalia, like Ilhan Omar, would just obsess over, we can help Somalia. Well, then go there. Move there. We're Americans. We care about America. You come here from a foreign country, you have ancestors in a foreign country, and you're trying to leverage American tax dollars and power to try to help them, then bye-bye.
Several weeks ago, J.D. Vance was down at Ole Miss at a Turning Point gathering, and one kid got up, asked this viciously anti-Semitic question.
He got to ask the question. Can't allow any more questions and answer periods during those Turning Point events, according to Ted Cruz. Only pre-approved questions, which, maybe they'll actually start doing that, because the little clique is really freaking out about how many of the young adults in this country just have a lot of questions about things. Questions you weren't allowed to ask until recently. Questions where the answers are very upsetting to people like Ben Shapiro, because you're not supposed to have those conversations. They've done their best to censor and harass and shame people for asking those kinds of questions, but that time is now past. We're in a new era now. You know what, Ted? If you want to stop the rise of supposed anti-Semitism, which really more accurately should be called disfavorable views of Israel and American Jews who obsess about leveraging American power and tax dollars to help Israel and just Jews in general, then maybe you should denounce Jews who disparage Christmas, like the Jew who wrote Santa's Husband, depicting Santa Claus as gay with a black boyfriend. Or the Ginos who write articles like this complaining about hearing people wish them Merry Christmas every year. Or like this piece from NBC News that wishes that there was a war on Christmas because Jews who leave the house in December are accosted by oppressive Christmas music. And leave me a comment down below if I'm wrong, but I think that I'm the only YouTuber who has ever pointed out and obviously denounced this Jewish ADL presentation where they complain that public schools are having kids do arts and crafts projects that feature Santa Claus, because even though the court said that it's not a religious symbol, it still offends certain Ginos, certain people with Jewish fragility. Or like this one who wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post during the COVID lockdowns, who said that she was happy that the stores and the malls were locked down because that meant she didn't have to hear that oppressive Christmas music, saying the pandemic means no one forces Christmas on me. I don't exactly miss it. Everybody knows, but you're not supposed to say it. Amongst us Gentiles, us non-Jews, Even atheists celebrate Christmas. Even if they don't celebrate it, with the rare exception of a couple blue-haired crazies, they're not offended by it. They're not complaining about it. To them, and to most people, it's not even a religious holiday at all. It's just about like coming together in the cold dead of winter and catching up with family and friends and having a good time and having a party and exchanging gifts. They don't hold a grudge against it like a certain group of people do because of Jesus showing up on planet Earth 2,000 years ago and not assimilating into the culture of their host countries. I mean, there are plenty more examples. Here's just one more. This from the New Yorker, written by a proud Jew. What piped in Christmas music sounds like to me. And then he wrote a bunch of scribbles and just horrifying pieces of art about how he feels accosted by this Christmas music because, again, he's a Jew. We don't care, okay? I mean, are they trying to foment anti-Semitism so that they can play the perpetual and eternal victim? In America, scratch that, on planet Earth, we say Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, because we don't care if a certain tiny little group of people get their feelings hurt about it. But if you want to hurt some people's feelings at Christmas dinner this year, then I would highly recommend showing up in my custom Trump Claus sweater, okay? Different than the Trump Claus sweatshirts and t-shirts that are also available, like the screen printed designs. These have the graphic woven directly into the sweater in the yarn. And Friday is the last day to order them using standard shipping and get them in time for Christmas because these are custom orders. So be sure to head on over to markdash.com right now or click the link in the description below and check them out.